All right, everybody, Scott Pierce here at Listings to Leads. Welcome to the call today for Facebook ads. And at Listings to Leads, we've had some major enhancements that are really helping out the engagement with these. And Cheryl, you say, I'm telling you, you're going to want to get on our expired stuff. People are having all sorts of great results from that. One of our clients just got a listing signed all over the phone and text message. Another good client is he's got 3, I guess, listings coming up after the new year from sellers that he's been talking to. One is almost close to $1 million. Another client, 4 listings in 6 weeks from it. I am going to really recommend, all right, you're in the mastermind group. Make sure if you're not, get in there. That is absolutely crushing it. All right. And Steve Robertson, I've not seen you in our calls. I hope you're joining us. I don't know if you are or not, but get into the challenge group. I'll show you that during this call today. But yeah, let's go through the ads because we've made this amazing enhancement. You're going to want to know how to do it. There's a little something different, but it can mean all the difference in the world for you. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and log into Listings to Leads. And we got listings that we can run ads for. We got landing pages. That would be what is your home worth, iBuyer, things like that. Now, keep in mind, seller leads are coming in at anywhere from 10 to 20 bucks each. Buyer leads, and typically a lot of times buyer leads are anywhere from 25 to 35% of the buyer leads will have a home to sell, whether or not it's in that area, right? Who knows? But typically, and I hear a lot of people talk about the best way to generate seller leads is to generate buyer leads. So there's that as well. If you got a buyer's agent, don't want to work with buyers, refer them out to your buyer's agent. But we're going to walk through a couple of different scenarios. And one will be, now, here's the thing. Here's the key. The key to engagement is asking the right questions. Would you all agree? Right? When we can ask the right questions, then we can get further along in engagement. The problem is, for the most part, you can't ask any questions until you talk to them. And that is what has changed. So we are now able to ask a lot of different questions. We can only ask really 2, but you have a lot of options. And depending on your goals, depending on your business, depending on the listing, will really determine what those 2 questions are. And so as I go through this today, I'm going to be clicking on the advanced options button, which I never do, right? Because in the past, there's really never been a reason why you wanted to go to advanced options. Probably about a month ago, we started adding some really great questions. We've been watching the results, and they're absolutely phenomenal. And I'm going to share one of them with you. That's just an absolute gold mine. We're going to do a couple of listings first, whether they're yours or borrowed. So you can always borrow listings. If you don't have one, I'm going to be showing a pending and sold example. So if you or maybe somebody on your team has sold a listing, even in the last couple of months, you can use this example that I'll share with you. And let's go with who's got a listing here? Anybody have a listing coming up? Or do you have a listing? What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a active listing. I'm going to click market listing, Facebook and Instagram ads. And we brought the entire Facebook ads platform inside of Listings to Leads. Let me turn that ad off. It will drop you onto the work area. So this is where we're going to create the ad. So it's going to autofill location, radius of 15 miles. I recommend leaving all that alone. Lifetime budget of 35. That's just the absolute minimum. You're going to want to bump that up to 50 minimum. I like to do 100. A lot of the lead problem is you're just not generating enough leads. All right. For a lot of you, you're generating 3 to 4 to 5 leads a week. That's not enough. All right. You're never going to get anywhere generating 3 to 5 leads a week. You want to be generating 3 to 5 leads a day. And it really helps. Why? There's a number of reasons why. But one of them is definitely for your follow-up. I wanna make sure that when I time block an hour a day to be calling back these leads, and if you're not doing that, well, that's probably part of the reason why your engagement's not that great, but we're gonna help fix that regardless. So check this out. I'm gonna go to 100. Now, remember when I said, and you all know this, everybody knows this. If I can ask you the right question and get your response back, that's going to help me engage you and provide better value. And it's going to help us in our follow up. So, how do we do that? Remember, I mentioned advanced options. So, check this out. Don't freak out. Don't get scared. It's super, super easy. Just turn that on. And we're going to do this a few times. So, don't, if you miss it a little bit the first time, I'll probably end up doing this 4 to 5 to 6 times over the course of this call because it's the same for every type of ad. Click create new form. And then we want to change these questions. All right. Or at least we want to see them. So I'm going to open up those questions and it's going to show me the default, all right, full name, email, phone number. So we always want to collect that. I want to know who you are. I want your email address. I want your phone number. Those are coming in. Phone number is 80% plus for a good phone number. Some of you may be in an area where it's a little bit more. Some people are probably in an area where it's a little bit less. Regardless, that's going to be on the second part of the Facebook lead form. We'll actually look at one if you're not sure how that looks. But for now, I'm going to scroll down a little bit more and I can see what is your time frame to buy. And the default is, would you like my free ultimate guide to buying a home? So if you've been using this by default and maybe you didn't even know it, we actually do send it to them automatically, even if they say no. Even if they say no, we send it in the autoresponder. But if they say yes, then obviously they're expecting it. They'll get the autoresponder. They'll see the link to download the guide in the autoresponder. And so in this one, when I'm following up with my leads, I would ask them, I see that you requested my ultimate guide to buying a home, and I just wanted to follow up, see if you might have any questions on that. But I think we got better ones. All right. That's just a default catch-all. All right. No, you're not going to go wrong asking that one, but we got better ones. As I scroll down here, we got some really good ones. All right. Let's start up here. 1, would you like a list of price reduced homes for sale? So this would be a great question to ask people, especially if it's not your listing. So if you're going to borrow a listing, this could be a phenomenal question to ask. Even if it is your listing and maybe you had a price reduction, a phenomenal question, because now in my follow-up, I'm going to ask them, hey, Steve, thanks for clicking on my ad for 123 Main Street in Calabasas, North Carolina, or Bolivia, North Carolina, I guess it is. And that's fine. Don't worry about the spelling. That's just for you, for us. But now when I follow up, I'm going to follow up and just say, I see that you requested a list of price reduced homes for sale. Let me find, what area are you looking for? So in my follow-up, whether it's phone, text, or email, I'm going to make sure I respond to their request for a list of price reduced homes for sale. And we're seeing probably over 50% of the leads are saying yes to these questions. So for over 50, some of them are going to say no, they're just whatever, not interested. But for the ones that say yes, wow. Now as long as our follow-up, now if we ignore the fact that they said yes, then our engagement is going to be lower. But if we want to actually engage these people, all right, we want to refer to that follow-up. Another great question is, especially nowadays, all right, nowadays, what's really hurting is buyer affordability. All right. A lot of buyers, my wife is a mortgage broker, and it is crazy how many buyers still think they need 20% down, or they think their credit is too bad and there's no way they'll ever afford a home, or whatever it is. They just got misconceptions around down payment and down payment assistance and things like that. Asking this question is phenomenal, because now in your follow-up, you're going to say, hey, Steve, Scott here. You responded to my ad at 123 Main Street, and I saw that you would like information to see about qualifying for zero down or down payment assistance. For example, you might be marketing new construction, and the new construction may be offering zero down options. You may have a lender who's got zero down options. So this could be a phenomenal question to ask, because then you're going to get some really good feedback, or not feedback, but follow-up options with these leads. We got what is changing your housing needs? Would you like to be notified when similar listings hit the market? And then we got some really good ones. Let's go back to what's changing your housing needs. And notice I can mouse over, and those are the options that people are going to have to select from in the ad. So if I'm using this question, what's changing in your housing needs? When people click in the ad, their options to reply are going to be, we're downsizing to a smaller home, we're upsizing to a larger home, buying our first home, moving for other reasons. So those first three, again, somebody responds, they're downsizing to a smaller home. That's probably going to be a listing opportunity. In addition to, now I know more about what you're looking for. You're probably looking for a single story, maybe a bit of a smaller home. So if I've got a listing that's single story, that might be a great question to ask. Or if I say I'm upsizing to a larger home, right? Maybe I got a nice size home in an area. Maybe it's in a good school district where a lot of people with families, with kids, they want to move into. That could be a great question with a great response. All right. But we got others. So down here, these last five, all right, what's most important to you in your next home? Now, notice the replies. This one is for first-time home buyers. So if you got a listing that's a little bit on the lower end, that could be great. What's most important to you? They're all the same 5 questions. It's just the replies are going to be geared to a different audience. So if your home is maybe 2 stories, it's a 4-bedroom, it's in a good school district near the parks, right? Again, a popular area for people with kids. This could be a great question, because here the responses are, I want a home with great schools, nearby parks. I want a home with an open floor plan with a large kitchen or family room. I'm looking for a home with extra bedrooms or flexible office space. I'm looking for a home with a private backyard, or you get the idea. And the last one is going to be all or most of these are important. Again, what does that give me? That gives me a lot of great ammunition for my follow-up with this person, because based on what they said, even if they say all of it, now I'm going to be able to respond based on what they replied on, what they responded. Next, we got for downsizing, retirement. So again, if you got a single story home, maybe you're in Southwest Florida, and maybe you're in a golf community, or you're in a complex that's geared towards older people. This could be a great question, because now when people reply to it, they're going to say, oh, we're looking for a single story home with easy living plan, or we're looking for low maintenance or new construction, right? Or whatever it is, gated community, close to dining, shopping, or healthcare, right? Space for visiting family and guests, things like that. Next one, lifestyle second homes. Again, you might be in Southwest Florida, you might be somewhere in Texas, wherever it is that you are, North Carolina, South Carolina, near the water, or you might be in the mountains. So here the options are, I want water views or boating access, close to beach trails or golf, gated community, right? So on and so forth. Absolutely awesome right there. And then the last one is for luxury buyers. So if you are in a luxury community, this could be a great question for that. So what I want you to be thinking about is, all right, I've got a listing. What is the buyer profile for this property? All right, knowing it's not going to be 100%, but typically we know when we have a listing for sale, we have a nice idea of what is the buyer profile for this property, even if it's a listing that we're marketing. And so what I want you to be thinking about is selecting the right question, and then making sure that your follow-up is going to match it. All right. Steve, does that make sense? All right. Mitchell, Joyce. So when you're marketing listings, and I'm going to walk through a pending and sold listing as well, I want you to make sure, and then let me show you this right here. So let's say you get a lead, and I'll actually show you an ad in a minute. So you get a lead, and you're going to get the lead notification from Listings to Leads. You're going to see their name, their email, their phone number, and then you're going to see the 2 questions. So in this ad, the 2 questions were, what is your time frame to buy? And they said 1 to 3 months. And then the second question, see if you qualify for zero down or down payment assistance. And they said yes. So I'm going to know it immediately as soon as that lead notification comes through, which is usually pretty instantaneously. I'm going to see that information right there. And I can literally tap on the phone number. Now, if I got the AI text from Listings to Leads, that will engage right away. So I don't have to try to engage so fast because I know the AI text will. And we're seeing great results with that as well. But now at least I know. So when maybe I'm doing a time block for all my lead follow-up. Now, as I go through this, I can see, okay, great. This person said that, so on and so forth. And then in your list, now, if it goes to your CRM, all this information will transfer to your CRM. But in your lead, so when you click leads and you click the lead's name right here, you'll see the responses to the questions that you had in the lead in the ad. All right. So here you can see again, what is your time frame to buy? 1 to 3 months was selected. See if you qualify for zero down. Yes. So you could say, for example, your two questions I always like, what is your time frame to buy? And so that leaves me with one other question to ask. So if you had, would you like a list of price reduced homes for sale? It'll say, where I highlighted yellow, right? The second question, would you like a list of price reduced homes for sale? It'll say yes or no. For all those people that said yes, in my follow-up, I'm going to ask them and I'm going to call, I'm going to text, email, you requested a list of price reduced homes for sale. I would like to just find out what area you're looking for. In your immediate follow-up on these kind of leads, on all leads, don't ask a million questions. Just all you want to do is get the responses going, because as soon as they respond to my first question, I'm going to be able to then ask more questions and get more replies so that I can get them, in this case, a list of price reduced homes for sale that match their criteria more. And that's going to be true with all of these ads and all of these questions. So we want to make sure that when we're doing this ad, we just are a little bit aware of what question we're asking and what's changing in your housing needs, again, whatever it is going to be. So I like zero down because, again, especially for a lower end, like a middle to lower home, or if I got a good lender and they've got zero down options, if I'm marketing new construction, there's a lot of opportunity to use that and get people excited about talking to you. And then once you select your questions, close advanced options and just hit create ad. Just that easy. I can edit any of the text. I can edit the image. I can use a video, all that kind of great stuff. But for this call, I really want to hit home this idea of making sure we are asking good questions so that our follow-up can match that. All right. So again, Steve, let me know if that makes sense. And I'm going to show this a few more times. So hopefully by the end of this call, you are going to be absolutely dialed in. And let's see if I click view, let's see if we can go look at that. All right, let's see if an older one. Sometimes it takes a minute for that link on Facebook to get live, but let's see if this one, go to show ad. So this was an earlier ad that I did. And so here's the ad. So this is somebody seeing my ad on Facebook. I click it. What is your time frame to buy? Just dreaming. And keep in mind, if somebody says they're just dreaming, a lot of times that means they are a first-time home buyer and they just don't know the buying process. So it doesn't mean necessarily, oh, I'm just dreaming and I'm not going to buy a home. What it means is they're just not sure on the home buying process. Maybe they heard about 50-year 50-year mortgage and they're like, oh my God, what is it? So they just don't know the ins and outs. And having a wife that's a mortgage broker, holy cow, it's crazy how many home buyers, even people that have owned a home before, they don't do this all the time. They're not in the business like we are. So they're not, even though they've bought a home 7, 8 years ago, they don't know the whole process like we do. All right. Jared, yeah, I like to be at least like 100 to 150 a week. And then I'm going to watch my ad spend and I'll show you what to do if your leads aren't coming in at a good price. You can turn off the ad and rerun it. A lot of times just turning the ad off and rerunning it because sometimes Facebook will get it to a really like a nasty audience where I'm not getting my leads are coming in at 10 to 20, but not 20. I hope good. That's awful for buyer leads. For buyer leads, you should be between $4 to $6 a lead. And I tell you, we got lots of people coming in at two to $4. Right. Now, I will say, man, I've had clients in Texas can be a little bit of a bear. Texas seems like it's a little bit more money, maybe $5 to $6 range. But regardless, and here we go. What's most important to you in your next home? And the replies are great schools, safe environment, safe family-friendly neighborhood, open floor plan, extra bedrooms, flexible office space, private backyard, close to shopping, or I can say all of these. And that's great. Whatever I reply, right? From the agent perspective, it doesn't matter because whatever they reply, I'm just going to make sure I mirror their response in my follow-up. And it's easy to do because the email that you get, the information inside of listings to leads will show you exactly what they said. If the leads are going to your CRM, you'll see that information there. So just make sure as you're calling and following up with these leads that you just know what was the response to that question, because that's going to help you engage them more. All right. Any questions on that first before I go to the next one? Let's go to, anybody have a recently sold or pending listing? If you do, congratulations. And you could be a selling agent where your buyer bought the property. So if your buyer bought that listing, you can add it to listings to leads as just sold selling agent. As you see here, I got just sold selling agent. When you're the selling agent, that means your buyer bought it. I'm just sold listing agent. That means I represent the homeowner. Either way, I'm going to click market listing, Facebook and Instagram ads, and the workspace will come up. So it's going to say Folsom, California, radius of 15 miles. Again, just leave all that stuff. My budget, I'm going to say $100. I'm going to scroll down on 99. Leave it at 100. I'm going to scroll down and I'll talk about change template and the text in here in a minute. All that's editable. But again, I want to just really focus on these questions for today because that is really going to help your engagement. I'm going to click advanced options, create new form. Because again, I want to change those questions. How do you pause a lead? Joyce, I'm not sure what you mean by how do you pause a lead? Go ahead and let me know what you mean by that. And in the meantime here, so again, name, email, and phone number, that's always going to be on top. What's your time frame to sell? That'll always be on, just like what is your time frame to buy. But again, it's all editable. And so the default question here is, would you sell in the next 1 to 3 months if you got the right price? This is a great default question. When I generate a lead, and if they say yes to that, oh my God, I'm going to respond back and I'm going to say, hey, Jared, this is Scott. And you responded to my recently sold listing in Folsom. And you said that you think about selling maybe in the next 1 to 3 months if you got the right price. What price are you looking for? That's all you got to ask. It's so simple. And no matter what they say, they could say, I want $10 million. I would just say, all I want to do is meet you. Because if I can meet you and I bring over my 100-point home marketing plan, right? And again, if you're not in that expired challenge, my gosh, you got to get in there. It is so good. But I would just respond back and say, Jared, that's great. Listen, I got a lot of buyers in this area. And when do you have 5 minutes for me to stop by just to take a really quick look at your property, make sure it's worth that? And if it is, let me see what we can do. Because I got some very motivated buyers that are looking, they're pre-approved, they've been looking for a while, and they will move on the right home at the right price. You just open up a great conversation with a homeowner in that area. All right. Now we got some other really good ones. See how my 100+ point home marketing plan works for your home? Had a client, she had 2 people respond yes to that. And here's the really cool thing. When you look at the responses, yes, please. Yes, and please customize for my home. Not right now. And she had 2 people say, please customize for my home. Absolutely fantastic. All you got to do, and again, for those of you that are new, so Joyce, for example, you're new, and I'm sure there's other people that are new. We have the ability, oh my God, and it's so good. You can add a home to your listings to leads account, and it creates a 24 to 26 page listing presentation flip book and PDF that you can then print. So when you go into a listing presentation, you can walk in with this thing. And I just interviewed a client this morning. She signed up on like a Wednesday. Her listing appointment was Thursday. She added the property to her account as listing presentation, walked through it on less than 24-hour notice. She had the homeowners asking her, where do they sign? She didn't even get to that part yet. She was just going through this. And she said, I had the homeowner scan the QR code on that page right there for mobile marketing. This is in your listings to leads account. You don't even know about it maybe, and that's fine. You'll learn about it here in a little bit. But she said the homeowner scanned that QR code and then asked, where do we sign? She did. She was so shocked. She was so surprised. She was a little bit new agent. She was a retired Coast Guard from Jamaica, and her last service area was Juneau, Alaska, which is crazy. Juneau, Alaska. Whew. And I told her, I was like, listen, my grandfather was in the Coast Guard, and a lot of people don't really appreciate how balls out the Coast Guard people are. But man, you don't mess. Coast Guard is pretty serious stuff. And she was 26, 23 years Coast Guard, just became an agent in the last year, and lives in Florida, and had a listing appointment, literally signed up for listings to leads the night before the listing appointment and got a hold of that listing presentation and knocked it out. So that's a phenomenal question, right? People click through the ad, and that's the question, see how my 100 plus point marketing plan works for your home. And they respond, yes, please, which is awesome. Yes, and please customize for my home, or not right now. Another question option could be, and I think this could be good. I haven't had any feedback on this one yet, but I think this could be great. See how AI can help sell your see how AI can help you sell faster for top dollar. They can respond, yes, show me how, not right now. Again, that is phenomenal, because if somebody responds yes to that one, now you got to understand, you got to know how can AI help them sell their home faster. One way is your home, as great as your home is, we can use AI to show different looks. So for example, the backyard. You may have a backyard with no pool. I can use AI, and any of you can do this. I've done trainings on this before. It's so easy. Just get the photo of the backyard of the property. You upload it into ChatGPT, and you just say, keep everything the exact same, but add a pool. Boom. 1 minute later, I've now got a great photo with a pool. I put that into the MLS. I put AI enhanced or AI staged that people know. And I put it right before or right after the photo, the original photo, so people can see, okay, the original photo is the one without the pool. The original photo is with the pool. Already had a client get a listing from doing this. All right. Very easy to do. And I could do 2 or 3 looks. I could say, show me this exact photo, don't change anything, with a pool, with a beautiful barbecue area, with beautiful landscaping of like different types of flowers and different things like that, so that people can actually see what that home could look like if they wanted to do some of these different things. So it's really powerful. That AI question, I think, is going to be a winner as well. And again, I could leave that one right there. Create new form. And now I'm going to close advanced options. I don't need any of the other stuff in there for 9 times out of 10. Now I'm going to show you one more thing here. I like to, what's the word I want? I like to make sure whatever my message is, in this case, that message in the lead form is how AI can help sell my home faster for top dollar. They're going to see that question. I want to add it to the text. So no matter what my second question is, I want to put it in the text of the ad. So check this out. Another home in Folsom, California has just sold. And notice I just click in here and it's going to highlight and I can change it. And I can say, learn how we use AI to sell homes faster and for top dollar. And I'll attempt to spell dollar correctly. Your home's value has been affected. I can just take that out because this is my call to action text. And I could even say, and if it's true, above asking in 34 days, right? Just what I'm trying to show here is you can edit these ads, make them a little bit more compelling. If your home was on the market for 6 months and it sold below asking, then I wouldn't put anything. Don't feel compelled to change anything here. The only thing I might change is to take out the verbiage about your home's value has changed to match the question that I selected for the lead form. That should make sense, yes? And I do that for my buyer ads. So my wife right now is she partners with agents. She runs ads for their listings. And so in the text of the ad, it'll say, get 0 down or down payment assistance options. It says that right in the text of the ad. And then she also puts that in the image. Because then that way, when they go to the lead form, because now it's going to really attract people. See, what we want to do is attract the right people as well. So we're working backwards. So we ask the question. We then put a statement in the ad, like I just did right there, that kind of relates to the question, so that now I'm going to attract people that are going to be a little bit more curious about how AI is going to help them. So now they see another home in Folsom, California just sold above asking in 34 days. Learn how we use AI to sell homes faster and for top dollar. Click below or text. And just hit create ad. All right. Does that make sense? Everybody. And so Julie, for the expired listing challenge, just get into the mastermind group. I'll show you how to get to that. In fact, I'll give you the link a little bit later in this call because we have some more stuff to cover. All right, let's go to landing pages. Let's take a look at one seller and one buyer landing page. So we've got free home values, down payment assistance, new construction, iBuyer cash offers, the same thing. We've got 3 price reduced landing pages, they're all a little bit different. You can check them out a little bit later. And I'm going to run what is your home? So we got this. Before I do that, and I'm not going to run it as a standard, what is your home worth? All right. I don't like that. But we've also got PDF guides. And you're going to see here, let that come up. Just to show everybody here, we got the different guides. And keep in mind, when I do an ad, any ad that I do, we've got an e-flyer. So for the listing, there's an e-flyer. For the PDF guide, there are e-flyers. For the landing pages, there are e-flyers. And there are social media posts. There are short form video scripts. There are tools for Instagram and TikTok. There are all sorts of tools. So when I do an ad, I don't want to just do an ad and like, oh, that's it. And we'll have tools for the farm area. So we've got like the nearby homeowner letter. We have all these other great tools. So my point is, when I do an ad, I don't want to just stop at the ad. As you saw when I clicked on market listing, there is a whole set of tools there. And I want to use all of those tools. And we do training on all of that. Today, we're focused just on Facebook ads, but our other live training, we cover all of these different things. So get started with one of these things, but make sure you join us for other training to learn how to implement more of it. So for the PDF guides, I'm going to click seller. And I'm going to show you, we got downsizing, could be a great one. We got tired landlord. That's a little bit more niche, but we got downsizing guide for homeowners if you're in a good area. How to sell your home in a changing market can be good. All right. How to avoid foreclosure, divorce in real estate, 12 mistakes to avoid in selling your home. So let's just do a downsizing guide for homeowners. So this is an ad. When people click through, they're going to get your fully branded, your colors, your logo, your picture, all branded to you, guide in the autoresponder, but also on the page they land on. So you don't need to send anything. All of it's done for you. Again, that's going to be, these colors are going to match your colors from your Listings to Leads account, your pictures, your logos, everything will be there. You don't need to do anything. It's all set up for you. I'm just going to type in, the only thing different about these versus a listing here, I just got to type in location. So Folsom, California, keep it to one location. You got to spend a lot more money because if your audience gets too big, you need to spend more money. I'm going to go to $100. It'll start and end in 1 week. All right. I can change the image, the video. I can change the text like I did before, but I'm going to go to advanced options. Again, create new form. And I just want to open up the questions so I can see what we got going on. So we got name, email, and phone number, just like before. What is your time frame to sell, like before? And would you sell in the next 1 to 3 months, right? That's the default for all the seller ads. But I might turn that off and I might say my 100-point home marketing plan, right? We talked about that before. See how AI can help. Check your home's value and selling options, no obligation. Let's see. Curious how what your home can sell for right now. See what a buyer would pay for your home today. That could be a good one. So similar, just a little bit different wording. So now when somebody clicks on the ad, the first thing they're going to see is what is your time frame to sell, and see what a buyer would pay for your home today. And their options are going to be, I think, let me know, no thank you. Because again, what am I going to do in my follow-up? In my follow-up, I'm going to call them. I got your name, email, and phone number. So when I call, when I text, when I email, I'm going to say, I see that you might be open to selling your home, or I'm sorry, see what a buyer, yeah. I see you'd like to more information about what a buyer would pay for your home right now. Phenomenal. I took a look at your property online, but let me know when you got 5 minutes so I can come over and take a quick look at your property so that I can give you a very detailed answer. We got a lot of buyers. They're pre-approved. They're ready to go. And if they can find a home, they are ready to move right now. So again, we are taking the response to the question. We're using that in our follow-up, and for the sellers, I always want to say, and you want to use that number 5 minutes. All right. In the first 5 minutes, as long as you build rapport, they're going to let you sit there for the next half hour to an hour if they've got the time and if you got the time. So in 5 minutes, you should get a good enough look to give a better answer as to whatever it was their question was about. But the goal is just to get over there to meet them. All right. And again, and I'll show before we get off, I would always take one of my listing presentation booklets and maybe as a leave behind for them as well. Cheryl says, I just ran my first Facebook ad this morning with L to L, and really, sure, you've been a client for a long time. That kills me. And Facebook shows there were 2 buyers. I didn't receive enough. I clicked the ad. Can you please check? Sure, definitely send that to support. Yeah, you're going to want to send that to support. That's not a good question for me because they're going to want to get into your account, take a look at it, and just let you know what happened. But yeah, normally you'll get an email and it will drop into Listings to Leads. So you could also click on the Leads tab, but yeah, give us support for sure. All right. And then again, once I select my 2 questions, close advanced options and just create ad. Now let's go back to, and you got buyer guides. We have like 40 different PDF guides for buyers, 40 different guides for sellers. You can change the image, change the video. And again, notice we got a social media postings. We got a short form video script. We got e-flyers to send out to your database. We got a database call script. We got print flyers, and these are phenomenal to use at an open house. If any of you have an open house this weekend, These are phenomenal to put in a little acrylic flyer holder, have it at your open house. People can scan the QR code and download the guide. Different guide. People love doing that. We got a lot of great feedback. Postcards and door hangers, QR codes. So again, when I'm running an ad for anything, I want to look at all the other tools to see, all right, what's another tool that I can use to really extend this message? Because somebody may see an ad, or they may see a post, they may see a short form video, they may have seen your email, or they may have seen a number of different things. And the more places we can show up, the better. So in my mind, doing the ad is phenomenal, but sending an email to my database for the same thing, that's free. Doing a short form video, that's free. Calling through some of my leads in the database with that script about the same item, that's free. So there's a lot of free things that you can do with the Listings to Leads platform in addition to a paid ad. All right. Does that make sense? So we don't want to just be spending money all the time. We're spending money because that's definitely going to attract new people into our sphere. But we also want to use these tools in our sphere and in our farm where appropriate. All right. Let's take a look at free home values. I'm going to click on marketing tools. Now, the straight up, what is your home worth is not overly compelling. All right. That's played out for the last 5 years, 10 years. I know we were one of the first people to offer this and it still works, but you're coming in at $20 a lead. So I love the pending and sold. So pending and sold is phenomenal. And I'm going to show you right here how to emulate the pending and sold, but with the free home value. So check this out. So we're going to do a little bit of a trick on this. Now, the way we do this here, where it says 119 homes sold in September 2025, the highest price home to sell was 813,000. So this actually is not bad when I use this kind of language, because what does it do? It is showing people some pertinent information. Now, that's September. If I wanted to, I could look at my MLS really quickly and I could say, you know what, actually it was 134 homes sold in September 2025. The highest price home to sell was 789,060 and leave everything else the same. So I could do that. And that's actually not bad at all. How we pull this information real quickly before I move on. If you go to, I believe, let me think where I should know this. I may have to go with our support. Maybe my support team knows more than I do. I think it's somewhere. Oh my gosh. I have editor. Let me see here. Follow up. Man, that's embarrassing. Preferences. I'm sorry. All right. Let me back up because now you're all absolutely confused. So give me a second here. All right. Yeah. Let me just back up to the beginning. All right. So for free home values, I'm going to click marketing tools. And so the ad's going to come up, and in the edit section, if you've got the zip code in there or even multiple, it's going to take that information and put it here. So if I go edit preferences and I drop in a zip code, now if that zip code's blank, then that information won't be there, obviously. But if the zip code is there, now it's the 12th right now. Usually about mid-month, it updates to the previous month. But what's really, I tell you, I've had people just, even like right now, as an example, it'll say September, and people barely even like realize that says September. Now I would want to come in and go, you know what? Let me just update that for October. Let me look at my MLS, like I mentioned before. And I'm just going to change that, whatever program they use for something like this. And now, boom, I got a good ad. Another alternative is kind of like combining a pending sold ad with a home value. So maybe you don't have a pending listing, and I can do very similar to that one, or you don't have a sold listing. I could just do, maybe there's a listing that sold in my office. maybe a listing that sold in my farm area, maybe a listing that I sold. And I've even seen people do this with a made up listing. All right. So I could say another home just sold in Folsom. Because for home value, this is what I've seen works the best. Just the standard, get your home value below for free, instant access and all that, that's played out. But when we can pair this up with what's happening in the market, then it works a lot better. All right. But again, still, I like the pending and sold because that is very specific. It gets people really interested because if I'm a homeowner and I live in the area and I see that you got a listing that's pending, which is generating seller leads, or a listing that recently sold, those are the best because those people are a little bit more motivated, may not be the right word, but they're definitely more curious and they're going to be more engaged. But these can be great as well. But I think that works better if you either use the previous month's data, right? Or even September. Again, leads don't even look at it. They just go, oh, yeah, September. And they're not even thinking. Or you can update it like I showed you. The other alternative here is I could say another home just sold in Folsom. Or again, similar to before, I could just say 4 homes just sold last week in Folsom, because I want to make it, I want, when they see it, they go, oh, that's interesting. All right. Whether it was 119 homes sold in October, 4 homes sold last week. And then I might put, and again, this is always really good, the highest priced home to sell, geez Louise, to sell was $500,000. Again, they're thinking they're going to get, or they are getting a little bit of good information. So they see this ad. Now they know they may talk to their significant other, their husband, their wife, whatever it is. Like, oh, did you know that 4 homes sold or 119 homes sold in October? The highest price, guess what the highest price was? You'll never guess. Oh, I think it was 800. No, it was actually 978. Whatever it is, it helps get people more interested. It helps create more conversation and it helps create more leads when I do it that way. All right. Everybody pretty clear on that? It's pretty straightforward. It might be a little change for you because you're not really thinking maybe of changing these up, but this can really be very powerful. And we're still going to do the custom questions. So we're getting to there in a minute. And I can just say, tap to get your new home value. All right. So all so far, so good. And again, I'm going to do location just like before, because if for a listing, we know your location, but for this kind of a thing, we don't. And so what I like to do here is I like to grab a photo of a property. So if you had a sold listing, even if it was a couple of months ago, 3 or 4 months ago, whatever it was, add it right here. Let's say you don't. Maybe you just don't have a sold listing that you can use. I don't like to necessarily use other agents' photos, but let me find, I should have brought this up in Chat GPT. I'm in my other monitor. So give me a minute and I'm going to bring up some examples of property photos in Chat GPT. So these are all images. This was actually, ChatGPT was getting me so mad. Oh my God. So this was a listing photo of a client and we wanted to use something different. So check out, so here's the ending photo. All right. That's the ending photo, garage on the right, the flowers, the tree. And the original photo was, let me scroll up a little bit more right here. So there's the original photo. And so my point is just go find a photo, even if it's another agent. And what I do is I tell ChatGPT, this image is a listing from another agent. So we need to make it look completely different. And because this is actually their client. I don't like to use other people's homes in ads. And that's where we keep it the exact same. I want it to change so that it looks similar, right? But even if the homeowner were to see it, they're not going to know that's their home. And I'll show you some other examples here. So that was just a cleanup. Ooh, and another great thing is, so take a daytime photo. Let me see if I got an example here for you. So you can take a daytime photo and say, so here's the daytime photo. And man, it made that one look completely different. And then I said, get it a little bit more similar. So here we've got, and this looks completely different. Here's the original photo, and Chat GPT. And sometimes I'll say, change the garage to the other side of the property, make it golden hour. So now what I do is I say, make it golden hour, but with a blue sky. And that way it'll just put the reflection in the windows, make it look really pretty. So my point here is just, you can use Chat GPT to give you some really good photos that are unique, where you're not using a photo of a real house, but it'll be of a house that people will recognize as being from that area. Does that make sense for everybody? Again, I don't want to use someone's actual home in my ad. I don't mind using an image of a home that was inspired. So let's go to my files. This was from Chat GPT as well. Because I just want a home that they look at and go, oh, that's probably one of those 4 homes he was talking about. Make sense? Have received questions asking how accurate is the free home value. Caroline, they're all just algorithm estimates. The goal is for you, right? When I'm talking to a homeowner, these are just estimates, right? It's just a range. When do you have 5 minutes for me to come by and I can give you a more precise value on what your home would sell for in today's market? This is just to get the conversation going. These are a range of homes. Yeah. Yeah. Don't get too tied into like, oh my God, it's like their home is not exactly in the middle, right? We're giving a range. In fact, even in the lead notification, in fact, I'll show that to you because that's actually a good point. So we got the text, we got the image, and then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click advanced options, and I'm going to click, oh, where are, go, where are, oh, that's crazy. I'll have to find out where. All right. Yeah, let me find out where that button is. But I would change, again, I would just change it to one of the questions that we've got, talking about the different options that they've got. Again, the AI, how AI can help you sell your home faster, my 100-point home marketing plan, and so on. All right. All right. Let me show you, because to your question, Caroline, that's a great question. If I go to edit, autoresponder, and if I look at the preview, why does my preview, let me send a test email. Oh, I must have changed that at some point. Let me look at follow-up. And no, that's a follow-up. Okay. Let me check. Let me check my, yeah, I think I customized that one a while back ago. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know why I customized that one, but anyways, in the email, in your autoresponder, the email is going to, the default autoresponder is going to say to them, like, email that they get, it's going to say, here's your range, here's a range of your property, low, mid, and high. And then it's going to say, does it seem too low or does it seem just about right? And if it's a little bit, if it seems too low, they click. What it will prompt them to do is, again, schedule a 5-minute visit from you to give them a better home value estimate. So even in the autoresponders that they get back, or the home value, the email, it's going to, and even the page that they land on is going to refer to that as well. Yeah, we know, and we actually talk, and you should always click through the ads, click through the landing page so that you understand what the lead is going to see, because the more familiar, the more comfortable you are with the lead flow process, it's just going to help your follow up. All right. Any other questions? And again, one of the big keys is your follow up. So you can getting enough leads. All right. So we want to make sure that we're spending enough budget. We want to make sure we're using all the other tools as much as possible, because there's a lot of free ways. And even the free ways of doing this can help with our paid ways, because we want, the more people see us in more different places, the better it's going to be all the way around. And then just make sure you got to be making sure that you're dedicating to spending an hour a day following up with people. All right. The buyers, the sellers, making sure you come into listings to leads. And I'm going to bring that up again here on the follow up, because whether it's through your CRM or if you're using listings to leads, right? In listings to leads, you can just click the lead tab, see all of your leads right there. You'll see what the responses were to the question. You'll see where they came from. In this case, I can see it was off my listing at 4704 Gold Lane. My wife, she every night from in the summer, she does 7 to 8. And now in the winter, she does 6 to 7, because it gets so dark so fast. It's like, I almost want to go to bed at 8 o'clock every night. It gets so dark. You're just like, oh my God, I'm in hibernation mode. So she changed her lead follow up from 7 to 8 to 6 to 7 p.m. every day. All right. But and I'm just going to call through. I'm going to be looking. All right. And she does day one, she'll call. And then if there's no response, she does not leave a message. She'll send a text, no response. She'll call for 3 days. She's got the AI text follow up hitting them also. And a lot of times the AI text will engage, because the AI text will respond. In fact, one this morning, one of the leads comes in and they wanted yes to down payment assistance. And what was it? So then they wanted information about that particular property, because the AI text will say, thank you for clicking the ad at 4704 Gold Lane. Would you like more information about this property, or are you just browsing? And they said for this property. And then they said, yeah, we want to talk to somebody today, and here's our budget, and we want to buy something in January. They were currently renting. And when you're talking to people that are renting, A, find out how much they're paying in rent, and then B, how much their rent has increased in the last couple of years. Because people like to talk about it's expensive to buy, but it ain't cheap renting. There's a lot of people, especially those people that are getting bought out, or they got a landlord who just increases rent every year. I know she's talking to people every single day that are renting, that are getting their rents raised 5 to 10% every year. And they're just sick of it. And they got a good job, stable job. They've been there for a number of years. So it's a good, stable job. They got good, stable income, and they're just tired of getting their rent increased every year. And so with this question here, and it doesn't matter, whatever your question is, all right, make sure you address it in the follow-up. And the last thing I'm going to show you, for those seller ads, if you're using the question, how can AI help me sell my home faster for top dollar? My favorite response to that is the images. I'm going to use AI, right? First of all, I'm going to use professional photography to beautifully show your home, so that we got just the most beautiful photos. But then I'm going to take those photos, and for a few of them, like maybe the backyard, maybe the living room, maybe the front of the house, and I'm going to use AI. And I don't want to use the word enhance, but to show alternatives. For example, you got a great backyard, but some people may want to see what it would look like with a pool. Some people may want to see what it would look like with a barbecue area. Some people may want to see the front of the house in a different color with a different landscaping. And if we can show that to them, we're going to get people more dialed in and more invested into coming to look at your property, because now they can visualize different ways that your property may fit their lifestyle need. And even if it's like, for example, maybe it's a property, and this happened last week with a client, it was an empty property. It could be people that have moved out, right? It's been on the market for a few months. Now they've moved, it's empty. You don't want to pay $20,000 for staging. I can virtually stage and show 2 or 3 different styles of the kitchen, 2 or 3 styles of the living room, even if they have furniture there, because not everyone's house looks like $1,000,000. Okay. But with AI, we can do a lot better with this. So that's a response on AI, and that's just easy. But if you're going to use the question, would you like to see my 100-point home marketing plan? Check this out. In your account, you got a default. So on the listings page, if I click the listing presentation tab, and then We got the flip book. So right here is my flip book. I can click view. And this is my default ready to go flip book, ready to show. And this one's actually 27 pages. Beautiful. And I can also click print, and this is the downloadable version. And we got actually a listing presentation structure. So there is actually, a lot of people don't know this, home selling process outline, fully editable. And a lot of people like to take this to a listing presentation as well. So this can be a great, this is your colors, your logo, your branding. I can click in here and I can edit if I wanted to. Let me just go ahead and close that. But if they were to say, yes, I want to see your 100-point home marketing plan, but I want to see it customized for my home, you're going to get the listing at that point. What you do, go to add listing manual. And this is what our people are doing for expireds as well, where they want to show. In fact, one of our clients just the other day got a listing agreement signed. And what he did is he came in here and he clicked manual, or he clicked add listing manual. And you can either, if it's an expired listing, you just go expired. But in this case, you're going to go listing presentation. You're going to add their name because you'll have their name from the Facebook lead form. So I can say, Frank Jones, fjones@gmail.com. If I got their phone number, right? Now, we're not going to show their email or phone number on the cover, but we are going to show their home address. Avenue, right? And just enter the information, grab a photo from Google Street View, go to Zillow, go to your MLS, see if there's a photo from in the past, ask them to send you a photo if you wanted to, save and add photos. And what it will do is, check this out. It will create just like the one that we saw before, but now on my dashboard, see where it says listing presentation? Listing presentation. When I click this street address, because we don't market listing presentations, right? This is just for the homeowner. We got a flip book for now every home in here. Look at that. Prepared for Frank Costanza, 834 Mazarian Lane. I don't know where I got that from. 843 Mazarian Lane, Loomis, California. And every image in here is of his home. And so I got a flip book. I got the PDF. So when I get a lead and I'm using that question, would you like to see how my 100-point home marketing plan works to get your home sold? Because that 100 point, that's just like, are you kidding me? And now here, and even on this page, when they scan the QR code or send a text, they're going to see their home on their phone. And that was for the agent that I was talking to this morning. She said she was in the listing presentation. She had the homeowner scan that QR code. And that's when they asked her, where do we sign? They were sold right then. Where do we sign? They loved the structure. They loved the overall strategy of what was going on here. And they didn't even get to the end. All right. They didn't even get to the end of it. And this is all branded to you, your colors, your logos, your picture, everything is all you in this. And you got this for your listing presentations. You got it for FSBOs. You got it for expireds. You got it for canceleds. You got the PDF. You got the flip book. So Caroline, do you see how that can help you? And let me give you the link to the challenge group. So if you want to come in here every day at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., we are doing calls in your Listings to Leads account. What you're going to want to do is just click up here where it says announcements, and the links to the calls every day at 4 p.m. right here, every day at 7 a.m. right here. So we do twice a day Zooms, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. East Coast, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. East Coast. All right. He's calling me. Caroline, who's calling you? Or are you just saying that? Yeah. Yeah. When they see their home like that and you can send, oh my God. It was funny. I was talking to someone and they're like, yeah, we send out 1,000 envelope. We send out 200 letters a day. And it took 4 months and we finally we're getting listings pretty regularly. But I was like, that's 1,000 letters a week. That's $800 almost in stamps alone, $500 to pay someone to do it. They still spend a couple of hours a day writing. I was like, you could order 160 of these from us and you could just throw them out the car window as you're driving down the street and get listings. If I had 160 of these a month to hand out, right? This 160, holy wow. Yeah. Oh, Steven, thank you so much. Yeah. Dude, here, let me show you. Let me show you. Let me show you while we're still here. Steve, I got you here. Let me show you something. Agent B. So this is an example of it. So, dude, so we got an expired letter, and this is a version where we got the QR code pointing to that. This is Steve in our training. I'm showing how to create these expired letters that point to that book, right? So you got Steve, you got this version, but there's a flip book version as well. But check this out. And to give it a second here, a lot of great stuff going on. I'm going to show you a post. Yeah, so this guy right here. So this is just from yesterday. Just received back a signed listing agreement today, all over the phone and text. Seller is in Northern California, and the property is here in Albuquerque. Flipbook single property website landed the deal. And on this one, I did a Loom video. The second part of his comment here. On this one, I did a Loom video with a pre-listing package and a flip book of her property, which I just walked you through, and then sent it to her, and then sent her the expired booklet printed. So he added their home as status expired, sent her the flip book via text, and then had it printed. This is the general one, right? You can order the general ones from us, or you can add them to your account and print them. So he did that, and he got the listing signed, all in this out-of-state homeowner, which I thought was fabulous. Talked to another client yesterday, another new agent, and he's like, I've already got 3 listings that are looking to list at the start of the new year that are all committed to me. Phenomenal. That's what we want. He's like, this is likely the biggest pipeline he's ever had as an agent. And that's what we're trying to do. Yeah. Thank you, Steve, for that. I appreciate it. So everybody, go ahead and get out of here. Go ahead and check that out in your account. Make sure you join us. All right. This is actionable. I'm not sitting here. We're not doing these calls twice a day just for me to talk at you. We're doing these calls twice a day so that you can take action. And it starts off finding the expireds, calling them up, we got a 4-text sequence that we walk you how to do. And then you can print or you can buy these from us and start either door knocking or mailing and start building the best pipeline you've ever had for 2026. And when I told him, I was like, John, listen, I love that you're getting you got 3 listings lined up for early 2026, and he's not going to, but I'm like, just keep at it, because you're going to get some of these that are going to come sooner that are going to want to list this year. It's just a matter of getting enough action going. Yeah. All right, everybody, listen, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.